What's up everybody? Good morning and welcome to the latest What's Up vlog. Slightly different to what I'd planned on doing this morning. I'm now back to just commentating duty. As a lot of you will possibly know already, my turbo trainer has finally died. Sorry, hang on one second. Yeah, I tried to get it going by doing some emergency soldering this morning, but it would appear to no avail. I will have another crack at fixing it before I just throw it in a skip. But I took it to pieces. It was I think a similar problem to what I had before, where the cap that sits on the end of the main brake unit. It's quite hard to explain. Maybe I'll upload some pictures, but it has. If you take the cap off, there's these little black cylinders, which I think are called. I think they are capacitors. So please don't lay into me if I'm wrong. I'm not pretending to be an electrician or know what I'm talking about. But basically, there's these 4 little black cylinders that sit in the middle of the circuit board, which nestles inside that cap. And when you put that cap back on the turbo trainer, those 4 cylinders have to fit within a larger metal cylinder which actually rotates with the wheel, so the actual roller. So I'm thinking where that cap isn't sitting quite as nicely as maybe it should, the roller is actually displacing those capacitors, because it looked like one of them had been completely sort of ripped off. The connectors that are normally soldered onto the circuit board seem to have come off. Right, anyway, look, we've got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Race 14 is go. Good luck everybody. This is a really important race. Hang on, let me just click on. There we go. T Akagi. It's a nice big field actually. So I'm a bit flustered. I've been sort of waffling. I've not really been that sort of coherent in my introduction to this video. So I'll try and calm myself down and make a bit more sense. Quickly finish my description of why my trainer's broken. Basically, the 4, I'm going to call them capacitors. 4 capacitors have to fit within the cylinder that is the main roller, and obviously the rotation of that roller seems to have knocked them out of place, and that's what's broken it. But there were some burn marks on the circuit board itself, which suggests to me that there's some kind of sort of connection issues which may be causing sparking or something like that. But anyway, Vortex is dead. Rest in peace. It's been very good to me for the last couple of years. Do you know, without wanting to get gushy, it's actually given me so much more than just a bit of exercise and a bit of entertainment. It's actually, without that Vortex, I wouldn't have started Zwifting, obviously. I wouldn't have started WKG, and I wouldn't have met you wonderful people. So there we go. So this is the 14th and penultimate round of the WKG Racing League. If I was going to choose a race where I had to watch, or not had to watch, but could only watch, this would possibly be the one, because it's so nicely poised, this league, that this actually will be entertaining even from a spectator point of view. We have I'm not deliberately ignoring anybody here, but I'm going to highlight the 2 main battles that are going on. B category, we have Keith Denton, Brett Smith, and Catherine Denton, all pretty close points wise. Basically, there are 30 points available in these final 2 races. They're separated by, I think, from memory, about 10 points from Keith, who's first, down to Catherine, who's third. And I'm looking at this now. I can't see Keith in this main group. So hang on a minute. Is he further ahead? I can see a silver fox in there. But is that... Oh, no, hang on. Here we go. So, Keith, 30 seconds off the back of this bunch. I just saw his name pop up at the bottom. 31 seconds. Right, this is interesting. Okay, so this might be a tactic, and if so, it's possibly a really clever tactic, which takes me on to my next point. This is the London Pretzel, and the bonus points are going to be for the combined time of the 2 climbs. So obviously you do Fox Hill first, and then we'll come round and do Box Hill, and the best combined time, I should say, of the 2 hill climbs will be awarded 5 bonus points. So I wonder if Keith, by holding back here, is pacing himself on this flat, hoping that he can then hammer it up the 2 climbs, get the 5 bonus points, and probably would benefit him even if he was to take 2nd place in this race and Brett were to win it. What would that be? That would be 13 points for Keith and 10 points for Brett. Oh, it's getting confusing because then we have to factor in whether that 13 would be higher than Keith's lowest point scoring race on the basis that we're only using points from your 8 best point scoring races. Oh, my brain's starting to hurt just thinking about this. Right, anyway, it's a close race between Keith, Brett and Catherine. That's all you need to know. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on giving ride-ons while I'm waffling away as well. But anyway, the way we currently stand, we have Brandel at the front of the race. So this front group, while it's flickering around, I'll try and give you the names. We've got Brett Smith, Hans-Peter Summerson, Catherine Denton, Dan Lell, Monkey D. Luffy, Brian Roden, Brandel, M. Tot, R. Johansson, which I think, I don't even know if that's R. Johansson, but I'm going to guess that that's Rickard Johansson. Tia Kagi, who have I not said? M. Sen, Jim Pocock, I can see there. Len Capel is there. Padron de Gas is there. So we've got some strong riders in this front group and some strong riders all the way through the race. Right, so the next main battle, which I will talk about, is for the C category. And that is mainly being contested by Len Capel, Dave Crook, and Peter Wilson. Now, Peter's not in the race today, which opens things up for, obviously, Len Capel and Dave Crook. I'll have to check on how many races everybody's done in that one, because, again, only your top 8 point scoring finishes count towards your league total. But, again, those 3 riders are all very closely matched at the top of the C category, so this is really exciting. So we've got this is a pretty decent bunch here, all powering away, all pretty high. I mean, look, they're the front of the group here with Catherine and Padron all in the 4s. Brandel and Monkey Duffy also in the high 4s. So this is a fast pace. Now I'm wondering if Keith will be regretting, if it is a tactic. Actually, Keith has been having some trainer problems as well. Oh my goodness, I hope that isn't what is causing him to be off the back of this bunch. That would be terrible, terrible timing. So I can see now, Keith is now 47 seconds off the back. He's in a little trio there with Dave Crook and Stuart Woodsell. So if it's a tactic, I'm not sure how well that's going to work, because this is a fast, powerful bunch up front. So here is Keith. He seems to be holding a steady power, but I'd say less power than we're used to seeing. I don't know. I'm torn here. I am starting to think this could be tactical. Save the legs, absolutely cane it up the 2 hills, get the 5 point bonus, and then hope that your speed up there is enough to sort of pull back in the guys at the front of the B category. But I don't know. I mean, I've not seen this before, and Keith, I know, is capable of holding, certainly holding the power that the front group are holding. So what I'm really hoping, because I missed the start, I'm really hoping this isn't a case of Keith having had technical problems right from the beginning, dropping back, and now trying to obviously have to use the group of what are mainly C riders here to sort of work their way back in. But have to wait and see. Anyway, let's have a watch of this lead group again for a while and see how they're all getting on. Okay, so we're 8 kilometres in. We've still got this group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crikey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think it is. Powering away at the front. We've got Tia Kagi. This is so frustrating trying to read the names. We're watching Hans-Peter Summerson at the moment, doing a stunning job. We've got Monkey D. Luffy, Catherine Denton, Hans-Peter Summerson, Jim Pocock, M. Tot, Padron de Gas, Tia Kagi, Brian Roden, Brett Smith, Len Capel, Dan Lell, Rickard Johansson, Brandel, and I think that's it in this front group. Apologies if I've missed anybody else. Flying through London, 40 kilometres an hour. Looking strong. I can't remember at what point distance-wise that you come to the first Fox Hill, but I think there's still a fair amount of riding to go before we get there. I think this group will probably be staying tightly bunched for some time yet, and as we saw with the previous race, actually it wasn't the previous race, was it? It was Box Hill. Things start to split up as soon as you get to those serious climbs, but at the moment they're all working together quite nicely, taking turns at the front and dragging each other along at a pretty decent old rate, which won't be good news for anybody that didn't manage to grab hold of this. I'm looking at you, I'm afraid, Mr. Keith Denton. I've got a feeling you had trouble. If this is tactical and it pays off, this is a stunningly brave move. But I have a horrible feeling you're either under the weather or your gadgets are under the weather and the gremlins have reoccurred. I've got a memory like a sieve, as you know, but I'm pretty sure Keith is somebody that mentioned having dropouts earlier on in the week. So I really, really hope that isn't the case and you're basically managing to pace yourself for an almighty attack towards the end. We're still, as we were, basically, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, still 10 or 11 or 12 riders still in this group at 12.8 kilometres in, and I think there's over a minute back to the next group down the road. I've learnt from my mistakes, by the way, from the last race trying to commentate. Now I hope this doesn't make it more boring as a viewing experience for you guys, but I'm going to try not to jump around too much on the riders that I click on. I'm going to try and stay with this lead group for as much as I can, and try and pick the moments when I jump to another group. Because of the route changes, you can quite easily get thrown out of the event module and really struggle then to get back to the riders that you want to be watching. So apologies if this looks like I'm focusing too much on one area, but it actually just makes it a lot easier to navigate. The other thing is, obviously, as everybody crosses the finish line, they will automatically exit the event module. So what I'll be doing is basically, hopefully, following each and every one of you up to the finish line, and literally as you hit the line, I will flick back to the next rider that's due to cross the line, so that I stay within that event module, if that makes any sense. But anyway, you probably don't even need to know about that. I might even edit this out. So, still rocking on, holding high 2s to low 3s as an average pace for this section, I'd say. Coming down the Mall, this is now putting a decent chunk of time between this bunch and the chasing bunch, which is being led by Keith D now, it would seem, at 1 minute and 20 back. So let's see what Mr. Denton can do when we hit the hills. I have no preference, obviously, as to who comes out as the winner in this league. But I really, the amount of work that Keith has put in through the course of, well, he's actually the only ever present as well in this race series, and the amount of work he's put out to get the points haul that he has, it'd be such a shame if it was decided by technical problems. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for you, Keith, that you can make a real powerful charge when we get to the hills. But like I say, I don't have any preference. That everybody, whoever wins this, basically will have thoroughly deserved it. It's been a long, torturous league so far. I'm planning the winter one on being even worse, if I'm honest, which will be music to everybody's ears, I'm sure. Right, 17.5 kilometres in, we're starting to see the first signs of a bit of a split. We got Tia Kagi there, was up in the 7-8 watts per kilogram for a second, I just saw. Trying to chase down Monkey, who's gone off the front. And if we come back here now to Keith's group, there is now over 2 minutes between himself and that main group. I'm just going to look further back now and see who else we've got riding. We've got Niall Simpson here. Great going, buddy. 16.5 kilometres in, holding a nice steady... I mean, look at that. That's 250, 260 watts. So nearly 3 watts per kilogram. He has dropped off the back of Keith D's group a little bit now. In fact, about a minute and a half off the back of Keith D's group. And he's got, I think, is that Stuart Woodsell about 50 seconds further back, and Stuart Woodsell looks like he's grouped up with Dave Crook, and then we've got H. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his surname, but I'm just going to say NG. 2:33 riding with Darren Hunter, and then myself at 33.5 minutes back down the road. So Niall is doing this all by himself at the moment. My main threat in terms of my league position is Darren Hunter, who is a little bit further back. I'll have to check to see where Niall is on this. Could he actually, if Niall picks up a decent haul of points in the C's, is he pushing close? I'll tell you what, I can go on my phone and see where things are. That's one benefit, I suppose, while I'm looking at Dave and Stuart Woodsell. Sorry, I was sort of looking at my phone and the computer at the same time. Let me just check the league positions. I'm wondering whether Dave's had a bit of a problem as well. Actually, this is lower than the usual kind of power output we've come to see from Dave. So I wonder if he's having, again, technical problems, or my my bug that I had, my illness that I had, seems to have managed to circumnavigate the globe, and so I'm wondering possibly whether Dave's coming down with something or recovering from something. Obviously had an operation not that long ago. It could even be a knock-on effect from that. Sorry, Dave, I'm making assumptions. You may be having serious technical issues as well, but I mean this in the most complimentary way, that you're not putting out the kind of power that we know you can definitely put out. So I'm hoping it's nothing serious. Stuart now just managing to break that toe from Dave. Nope, Dave's back on the wheel, is he? It's very close if he's not. Yeah, there we go. Right, sorry, back to my league table investigation. So, following on from 69th Street, we have, where is Niall Simpson? Wait, hang on a minute. I've completely disregarded the pressure from Jim Pocock, Darren Hunter, Niall Simpson and Satvik Singh and Colleen Wade, in fact, who are all very close. I'm looking at Darren Hunter, who I was assuming was my closest threat, but in actual fact it's Jim Pocock, who is, I believe, further up the road, possibly even in that front group. I'll jump back there in a minute and have a look. That's in the C category, and it's not for a podium or anything like that. It's actually just a competition for 4th place, but that's what I've been targeting for the last few races, knowing that the top 3 is well out of reach. So back at the front, let me just see, have we got, there we go, Mr. Pocock. Right, so my position 4th in the league is under serious threat. There we go. B category, so Keith Denton 82, Brett Smith 66, Catherine Denton 62. As it stands, we've got obviously Catherine and Brett both in this front group. Keith nearly 2 minutes behind now, and like I say, it may be that he's pacing himself to attack the climbs, get those 5 bonus points, and then attack to try and pick up maybe possibly a win. But I've seen how strong both Catherine and Brett can be over these kind of distances, so it may be that he's calculated picking up the 5 points and then another 6 points for 3rd would still be worthwhile. That'd be an 11-point gain. I don't know. But yeah, Mr. Pocock, right, you are well and truly my biggest threat to my my 4th position in the league at the moment. So apologies, I keep disregarding you. I think I ignored you largely in the last race as well, which I really didn't mean to do. But I certainly won't be ignoring you from now on. Right, so we're here with Brett Smith, 24.5 kilometres in, 35 minutes in. We're not far now from the climbs. Keith D, I can see, is 1 minute and 44 back from this group. Catherine is still at the back of this group, so the three main contenders, two of the three main contenders are still right here at the front. And that gap's stabilised, if I'm honest, with between Keith and this front group. But he's doing it all by himself. He's got no one around him. We can see that Rikard Johansson has dropped 3 seconds off the back of this bunch. Also, who else? Oh no, I was going to say Padron had, but no, he's still there. Just a second off the back of Len Capel at the moment. The three riders at the front here look particularly strong as well. We've got T Akagi, M Tot, and Monkey D Luffy. They are not league registered for the league, so they won't be taking points away. But obviously, a win is a win. So if these guys are battling out, then individual stage honours are still something to be proud of. Okay, so we do have a few dropping off the back now. We can see Dan has dropped off by about 5 or 6 seconds. Padron de Gas and Rikard Johansson just a second back, and also who else is this? Is this Jim? Yeah, Jim Pocock also. Okay, so we've got a small bunch here of Jim Pocock, Rikard Johansson, Padron de Gas, and Dan Lell, who have all dropped now 11 seconds off the back of the main bunch. Looks like Tia Kagi also has dropped off a couple of seconds off the back of the main group now. So just coming back to my turbo trainer, I think my first step, obviously after we finished watching this race, is I'll have another quick play with it to see if I can get things moving. Well, hang on, I was just I didn't even mean to click then, but I've clicked on Dave Crook and he's going nowhere. Oh, unlucky, Dave. It's funny because I mentioned earlier, didn't I? I sensed that there was possibly something wrong. I don't know whether that's you not feeling great or you've had some problems there, but that's unlucky, man. But well done for turning up and putting in a show to try and chase down that position at the top of the C category. So Stuart now, who is the leader of the C's? Well, it's going to be still Len, who I think is in the front group, I believe. So we've got Stuart here, who's 1 minute and 23 seconds behind who? We'll see in a minute. Wait for that to scroll. Niall Simpson, of course. Okay. So Stuart Woods, Niall Simpson 1:33 ahead, and Keith 5 minutes ahead, and that is still 2 minutes behind the Dan Lell group. Anyway, what I was saying, my trainer, the first thing is I'll try and have another go, see if I can get the vortex working, but I think that's, even if I do, I'm going to have to view that only as a very short-term solution, because this has become a little bit too frequent now that I'm having trouble with it. It's bad enough even just from a normal riding, on a normal riding basis, but obviously it affects my ability to vlog, to do the ride, lead out the rides, like the Thursday 2-for-1s and things like that. So I'm going to have to get something more reliable sorted out. So on that note, suggestions down below, please, if I haven't managed to sort something by the time this video comes out, but which is highly unlikely. Although I have seen some places actually hire them out, so it might be that I can get my hands on a really nice one, even if it's just temporarily. Get hold of a kicker, a Neo, or a Drivo, or something like that while I sort myself out. But I think something's going to have to be done sooner rather than later. We've obviously got the next and final league race is next. When is it? Next Saturday? Next Saturday afternoon, I think it is. I can't miss that one. I've got to be involved, even if it's not for points or anything. I've got to be involved in the race, so I'm going to have to try and sort something out. But yeah, let me know. It opens a massive can of worms when you ask this question, but let me know what you think in terms of sort of recommendations for trainers. Obviously, I've been looking at the Diretto for a while, but I'm not sure they're actually even available in this country for a while. So depending on how far off that is, that might put that one out of contention anyway. I do like Elite stuff. I tested the what's it called, the top one, the Drivo. I tested that I say tested. I had a go on the Drivo some time ago. All three of them were set up. The three main ones, the Kicker, the Neo, and the Drivo, were all set up at Sigma Sport, and I managed to have a couple of minutes on each of them, and I did really like the Drivo. None of them was set up specifically for me, so that may have been the reason why. That might have been the closest match to how I would set it up for myself. But I do remember thinking that one sort of came out on top. But any experience anybody's got, there's plenty of experience of the Kicker amongst the riders, but not so much with the Drivo. So anyone that has, I'd be really interested to hear, because that's certainly on my shortlist. But yeah, let me know what you think. Right, so we've hit the tunnels, the front group. Coming down over the boarded section, they'll swing left out of here. No, they won't. Swing right out of there, then left. And then as they come out, they will be approaching the first major climb, which is obviously Fox Hill. So 45 minutes to get to this point. It's kind of like, this route is set up kind of like a real sportive, or certainly every sportive I've ever done, where it's flat, 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 and then the last quarter of it is where all the climbing seems to happen. Just after you've taken every inch of life out of your legs, that's when things get really tough. So this London Pretzel works in that way pretty well. So we've got Tia Kagi at the front here, with Catherine. Actually, Tia Kagi's pulled a couple of seconds away. I'm noticing. I don't know if this is a break for freedom, or if it was just as they were coming up and down through the tunnels there. So we've still got Catherine, we've still got Brett in this group, and I can see Keith is 2 minutes 27 seconds further back. So now will be the time when we'll see if this is tactical by Keith, or whether he has some kind of issue. So let's keep an eye on this. Okay, so Catherine has now taken the front of the race at 4.8 watts per kilogram with Tia Kagi right on her wheel. But they've managed to kick away from Brett, who's 2 seconds back, along with Monkey D. Luffy. M. Tot now is a further 6 seconds back, along with Hans Petter Summerson. So, as expected, it's starting to break up and over Fox Hill. At the moment, Catherine, she's clearly had a nice good breakfast. She's holding some seriously decent power up here, and has got herself a 2 second lead at the front of this race now. Okay, so we're back here now, just having a look with Brett Smith and Hans Petter Summerson, who are now 14 seconds behind Catherine in the lead. Also, the other factor here is that the KOM points are for the combined times for both of these climbs. So Catherine doing a stunning job at looking at cleaning up here, unless something happens and she disintegrates basically on the Box Hill climb. Maybe that's again, it might be a tactic that Brett's playing here, just to stay reasonably steady on this first climb, and then put all the effort into attacking to take the race win and a really quick climb up Box Hill. We'll wait and see. Just looking back, Keith is 1 minute and 57 behind Catherine here. Just looking at the battle for C category supremacy. Obviously, Len pretty unchallenged now with Dave having pulled out and Peter not riding today. But my interest in that, obviously holding on to my fourth position. Jim Pocock's still going very strong. So this is looking a little bit ominous for me. I'll have to try and make up for it in the final race, Jim. Okay, so Catherine's now over the top of the main part of the climb and still managing to hold that power, sort of mid to high fours. So this is looking really solid. She's over the top and is 18 seconds ahead of Brett, who's probably just come over the crest as well, looking at his power numbers. But Catherine is continuing to charge on. Tia Kagi going with her. But yeah, this is looking stunning from Catherine. She's absolutely killing it. Let's see what her Fox Hill time is. So this will be interesting. We've got, let's have a look, wait for it to come up. Okay, Tiakagi, Catherine, 7 minutes 17.4. Okay, now let's wait and see what Brett comes over in. And Brett 7:31.2. So Hans Petter Summerson, really quick time up that climb as well, 7:32.2. So just a second behind Brett. But Catherine, absolutely stunning performance there. Will she be able to maintain that going up Box Hill, and even more so carry it on all the way to the end of the race? It'll be possibly the performance of the whole league if Catherine manages to pull off the effectively the treble of both the KOMs or what would be QOMs and the race win, and that will launch her right back into the fight to take the championship. Just watching Brian Roden now, who is next of our league riders to come up. Apologies for not paying enough attention to M. Tot and Tiakagi and Monkey D. Luffy, but obviously we're at the in the final throes of this league, so that's where all the interest is at this point in time. So Brian Roden, real good power numbers again, flying up this hill, but obviously got detached from the main group just as they approached this, so wasn't able to benefit from any kind of draft up the hill, for whatever that's worth. I don't know if you get much of a draft effect on these steeper climbs, but it helps even just from a pacing point of view if you've got another rider right in front of you. So Brian is over the top of the steep bit. There's a little stretch before you actually get the time. Keith's been flying, or am I reading this wrong? But he's certainly been picking off other riders that had been detached from the front. It's still some way. I mean, it's like 5 minutes behind Catherine and Brett, but Keith's managed to get past Len Capel, Dan Lell, Ricardo Johansson, Jim Pocock. Right, so let's see what Brian has done over Fox Hill. Okay, Brian, 10:17. Well, that just puts into context, Brian is a tough, fast rider, and Catherine did Fox Hill 3 minutes quicker. That is unbelievable. So 10:17 for Brian. Len Capel 10:25. I need to keep a note of that actually, because this is that's obviously for C category honours. Keith D 8:52, so a decent time for Keith. Any other day that would be a really good time, but Catherine and Brett and Hans for that matter absolutely flying up there. So just watch Dan come over the line. He did. I caught it too late. I just missed his time, but I got a feeling. Rickard 10:16, so that's a really decent time as well. So he's put himself in pole position, I believe, for the bonus points in the C category. Okay, back down to the front of the race here. So did Catherine manage to? Well, she's managed to hold on to a 24-second lead over Brett. Brett's still got Monkey D. Luffy and Hans Summerson for company, and Catherine has shaken off T. Akagi for the time being, and is racing away for a potential win, and like I say, possibly the full bonus points as well in this race. All the KOM times I'll be taking from Strava, by the way, so it doesn't matter if I've missed the live timings on the Zwift screen. So the only problem with Strava is I don't think they give sort of decimals, so I'm hoping it's not really tight between any particular riders where I have to go to decimal places to work out a winner. But if that is the case, I can refer back to the video and go on the Zwift timing. What I'm going to do on the final race, incidentally, which will be a criterion type race. At the moment, the plan was for it to be Richmond, the short circuit, but the Zwift course schedule is telling me it's Watopia on the day. So what I will do is the bonus points are actually going to be for the fastest individual lap. Not sure how many laps we're going to do yet, because I'm not entirely sure which course, but it's more than likely, if we're going to do Watopia, we'll do the Volcano circuit counterclockwise, which I actually think is a really good one for sort of fast crit type racing. So it will be sort of 9 or 10 laps or something of that particular circuit, and there's no KOM and no sprints, so we will give a 5 point bonus to the person that has the fastest individual lap time at the end of the race. So just watching Brian, 27 seconds behind Catherine. Still got Hans Petter Summerson and Monkey D. Luffy working quite nicely together. Further back, we've got Brian Roden now 4 minutes and 13 seconds behind. Then the leader of the Seas, which is Len Capel. In actual fact, Len's just been taken by Keith Denton, who is this the start of a charge? I mean, it's a long gap, 4:37 back. I think that might be. Yeah, he's still not putting out the same sort of power. So I think Keith. I'm going to put my neck on the line here and say I'm pretty sure Keith has a technical problem, or a health problem with regards to having maybe caught this the dreaded man flu that seems to be going around. His power numbers aren't anything like we're used to with Keith. And again, as with Dave Crook, I don't mean that as an insult in this race. That is, I mean it complimentary based on what we're used to seeing you do. So, but I stand to be corrected. I would still love to see that Keith Denton charge up Box Hill and then close all this back. But that is a monumental task with the gap that's there at the moment. So Len Capel, anyway, is 5 minutes and 5 back, but he is the C category leader. He has Dan about 20 seconds behind him, Dan Lell. Rikard Johansson is another 20 back from Dan. And then we have at 6:25 to 6:27 back, we have, as I wait for the name to scroll, Mr. Pocock. So it's now 6:35 back. And Jim Pocock is, what is he? Is about 8 minutes ahead of Niall Simpson. And Stuart Woodsell is a further 3 minutes behind Niall. Does anyone know what that triangle means next to T. Akagi's name? Stuart Woodsell's got it as well. The little triangle next to the category in their name, in the side panel there. I've not seen that before. Oh, is it to do with the Dimension Data workout thing? So if these races count towards that particular challenge, you have that triangle next to your name. Would that make sense? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But if anyone knows, let me know in the comments. Thank you very much. So we're here now with Len, who is the race leader in the C category. And I'm not entirely sure if he's going to get the bonus points because who was it? Was it Ricard or Jim? I think it was Ricard managed to put up the fastest time up Fox Hill by about 10 seconds over Len. So if Len saves something for Box Hill, then maybe so. But at the moment, he's certainly looking to pick up the 10 points for the race win. He's got a decent lead over Rikard Johansson and Dan Lell of about 34 seconds, and Jim Pocock about another 30 seconds further back. Not that it counts for anything points wise, but the sprint times are quite interesting at the moment as well, with Tiakagi and Catherine taking the sprint times down there as well. So Catherine's obviously managed to really maintain this speed. I mean, look at her now, 4.3 watts per kilogram. Brett matching her power momentarily there, but he's now almost a minute behind. Although he's managed to gap Hans Petter Summerson by a few seconds. So I wonder if this is, well, power figures are up and down a little bit, but I wonder if Brett was looking that was going to be the start of a push, but no, Hans has pulled right back in again now anyway. Keith is now 6 minutes and 6 seconds behind Catherine. So I'm now very much convinced that this wasn't a tactic and that Keith has some kind of issue. Which is such bad luck at this late stage in the league. Keith has now gone past Brian Roden, so he has made up another position. So it really is just Brett and Hans that are ahead of Keith, but they are the best part of, in fact, just over 5 minutes ahead. And so at the moment, you'd have to say it's looking like the finishing order being Catherine followed by either Hans or Brett. And then with Keith coming in fourth, which would be, what's fourth? Is that 5 points? those 5 points won't even register as league points because they're lower than the existing lowest points haul that he's got from one of his 8 qualifying races. Oh, it's complicated. Well, it's actually not that complicated, but it's complicated to try and put into words. Now, here we go. Box Hill for Catherine. Now this is going to be really interesting. If Catherine carries on the same kind of power and charges up Box Hill as in the same way she did up Fox Hill, this is going to be some performance. It already is, but this could be, like I say, this could be the performance of the whole series. Incredibly strong, and just at the right time. I'm going to have my work cut out doing the maths to try and calculate the league positions after this one, so you may be waiting a while, as always. Right, now that's I'm assuming that's the effect of Catherine having now hit the climb. That Brett is only 35 seconds back. He is putting out more power, so maybe this now is a Brett Smith charge to try and steal this one. Let's keep an eye on it. Catherine at 4, mid 4s. Brett at 5. Here he is coming. Yeah, so he's hitting the sharp part of the climb now, but holding good power. He's still got Monkey D. Luffy and Hans still right there. Oh, Brett's had, that was a drop out there. Went down to 1.1 watts per kilogram, only for a second. Not sure if that a drop out that short a time actually has any real effect, but nevertheless, I'm hoping that isn't an indicator of some kind of problem. There's no sign of tiredness from this front group at all. So the fact that Keith is 4 minutes behind and still, well, he's kind of matching their power output at the moment. But it does suggest to me that this group are now going to be fighting for the top 3 places from this point onwards. Here's Len, only 24 seconds behind Brian Roden, leader of the C category, and got quite a comfortable position. Back at the front of the race here. Yeah, they're matching each other, it seems. Catherine and Brett, mid to high 4s. That gap has been very solid at 38 seconds. And Brett, to be fair, has actually put the same gap between himself that was there between himself and Catherine. He's now got that gap over Monkey D. Luffy behind him. So he has had the two of them actually, Catherine and Brett, have had serious kick up here and managed to gap both Hans Petter Summerson and Monkey D. Luffy. I shouldn't be ignoring Tia Kagi, by the way, who's now a minute ahead of Catherine. 6.1 watts per kilogram up front. Absolutely flying. Seriously strong performance. And I've said it a few times before, but I'll apologise again for not paying as much attention to you guys that aren't registered in the league. But given that this is such a crucial stage of the league, I really can't take my eyes off this. And I don't want to risk losing track of any of the riders, particularly at this late stage in the race. So I will be trying to just stay with this front group and flicking through the riders that I can see that are within this section, just to make sure I'm not dumped out of the event module, because I definitely want to see everybody over the line if I can. But fantastic job, Tia Kagi. Get yourself signed up for the Winter League, because you're seriously, obviously a very strong rider, and we'd love to have you in there. Albeit it looks like you'd probably be an A rider instead of a B, if I'm honest. Okay, Tia Kagi did Box Hill 6:36. Amazing time, well done, but has no relevance on the bonus points, as I've mentioned. So let's see what Catherine has got, because this could be very crucial. She did 7:17.4 for Fox Hill, and Catherine has done Box Hill in, pretty sure she just went under the back, right, 7:39.8. Okay, so 7:39.8. Just taking a note of this so I can use those decimals if need be. So obviously now, wow, hang on a minute, where did Hans Summerson come from? I'm sure he was 30 odd seconds behind Brett. Wow. Right, so Brett's come over the line, has come under the banner, and he has done 7:25.4. 7:25.4. Yeah, Hans, 7:27.3. That was a seriously fast push towards the end there. Awesome stuff. Right, so I'm just having a quick look Oh my god, please don't let this be identical times. It's looking close. Hang on. Right, I'm gonna have to do the maths on this afterwards, but this is looking like they are incredibly close on the combined times. Alright, Brett's kicked up. He's up at the 8 watts per kilogram now. Is this it? Is this the time we get the charge? He's 50 seconds behind Catherine. Now they've come over the top of Box Hill. Brett was up in the 8 watts per kilogram for a second there, just to carry this speed over. He's dropped right down now, but that push there would have surely given him some decent momentum coming up and over. Let's see what we got. Catherine's still got incredible speed, still holding 3.5 watts per kilogram downhill, 1 minute and 11 ahead. This is stunning, but it keeps swaying. I don't know where to put my money on this one. It keeps swaying. Just when I think Brett's out of it, boom, he's gone again. All right, Catherine now. Look at that. As I'm talking, so Tia Kagi is flying, is well away, but Catherine 6.2 watts per kilogram now, and surely not two. Oh no, it's a minute and 10. Yeah, so still about a minute and 10 ahead of Brett. Wow. And I'm wondering if Brett is down to 1.82 watts per kilogram. I'm wondering if he's just feeling he's got that position. He's just going to consolidate that position and save his energy now, because Catherine is probably too far up the road to do anything about it, with only a few kilometers left to go. Okay, so here's Catherine. Tia Kagi's got this one in the bag for a race win, but here's Catherine still putting out 5.5 watts per kilogram, coming into the final couple of kilometres now, up through the last real challenge, and albeit a very very short sharp one, nearly 6 watts per kilogram. Unbelievable, after having done 55 kilometres and absolutely raced up the 2 steep climbs. This is incredible sustained power from Catherine. Brett now 47 seconds behind. Was getting close, with Hans just 6-7 seconds behind Brett at the moment. Monkey D. Luffy is still there as well. Apologies for skipping you out, Monkey. But again, as with Tia Kagi that I'm looking at now, just coming over the line, they're not for league positions. So Tia Kagi, last few hundred metres, 7.1 watts per kilogram, 8.1 watts per kilogram, flying around this final bend. Man, being able to dig that deep for a really powerful sprint from that far out, after having wiped the floor with everybody else, it's fair to say. Over the line, fantastic. I've forgotten to click out. I meant to click before they crossed the line so that I could stay within the event module. Right, what do I need to do here? I think I need to click back on me. There we go, I'm in the event. Can I get... Oh, perfect. There we go. Back with Catherine, just in time. So Catherine now, what is that, 500-600 metres to go from this point. Looks like a fantastic league win for Catherine, league race win for Catherine here. With, whoa, hang on, Hans is... They're neck and neck. Hans, Monkey and Brett are all bunched together. Go away, eBay. I don't need to know what you're trying to sell me today. All right, let's watch Catherine over the line. She's definitely got this position, so that's a phenomenal race win for Catherine. I will click away to Monkey's avatar just as Catherine comes over the line, because I don't want to be booted out of the event module again. So apologies that it won't actually see you all the way through the finish line. But I think that's the safest way of doing it, to ensure that I get everybody's finish. So Catherine, there's the banner. Past the bus stop, 100 metre board, and finally you can ease off the power, although she's not really. Still 3 watts per kilogram. That's a hard push for me. And click away. Well done, Catherine. That was fantastic. And here we go. Look at this. So damage limitation really for Brett. If he can, he's going to need to try and pick up second place here if he can. But Hans-Petter Summerson is looking strong. And I think he's going to take it. There we go. Look at this kick from Hans. Whoa. Absolutely flying. Hans has kicked in. He's pulled away. Brett's tried to challenge, but couldn't get over 7 watts per kilogram. Hans is absolutely flying away. Monkey now has managed to get past. Brett up into the 8s. But I think Hans is going to hold on to this one. Yeah, he's got a 2-second lead over. Hans has got a 2-second lead over Brett. Let's quickly click back so I don't come out the module. Right, sorry we couldn't see that properly, but I did click away. It looked like it was Hans, followed by Monkey, followed by Brett. So Catherine takes the win. Hans second and Brett third in the B category. And we're now back with the other main contender in that category, Mr. Keith Denton. And where is he on course? So he's about 4k from the finish. So this is near the bottom of the Fox Hill descent. If Keith has had a problem or is unwell, this is still an incredible push to only be beaten by riders we know can challenge anybody on any given day. So in terms of damage limitation, this is still a really strong effort from Keith. God, I'm going to have fun working these points out. I've got a feeling Brett may well have taken the KOM points, but came in 4th in the race. Catherine took the win in the race, but without any bonuses. And then it's a matter of, are the points won for that race higher than your lowest qualifying points from your 8 qualifying races? This one, I'm pretty sure, so Keith will be coming in 5th, which is 4 points. Am I right? So 10, 8, 6, 5. Is it 5th? Catherine, Hans, Brett. 4. It's coming in 4th, so it's 5 points. 10, 8, 6, 5. Yes. So 5 points for Keith. So I think the lowest point scoring race that Keith is using within his 8 races is higher than 5 points anyway. So in actual fact, this doesn't actually count towards his points total. But even bigger kudos then, Keith. If you're carrying on, if you are unwell and you've got problems and these points aren't even going to count towards your league, then chapeau, my friend, for seeing it through to the end. Great ride. I think this is going to be hard to edit this video down to anything less than the full race time. It's been action all the way through. It's been really intriguing, I've got to say. I hope that's coming across on video, because from my perspective this has been fascinating to watch. I'm almost tempted to, even if I can't get even if I do get a trainer sorted out for next week's final race, I'm almost tempted to just spectate that one as well, because this has got me gripped, I've got to say. Just while we're watching Keith come up this ramp, I'm just scanning down. I'm hoping, yeah, it looks like Rickard Johansson could do me a massive favour in my quest for 4th place in the league. If he's able to take some points from Jim Pocock, which he is at the moment. It looks like it's going to be Len Capel first, Rickard Johansson second, and Jim Pocock third in the C category, which certainly does me a favour. And in actual fact, I think Darren may have retired. I can't see his name there, so that helps me as well. Don't ever wish ill fortune on any of you guys, but Darren, I'm really hoping you're not there, my friend, because then that's one less person I have to compete with in the final race. Well, that doesn't decide it, but just puts me in a better position, obviously. Okay, Keith coming over the bridge. Typical grey, rainy day in London. Do you know, it's really depressing. This miserable weather that we're seeing on the on Zwift here is actually replicated outside my door as well. And I'm dropping my eldest son to the airport in this miserable weather so he can fly off to Florida for 2 weeks, which I think is the cruelest thing to make somebody do in the world. Drop an excited... it's him and his friends. I'll be dropping a load of excitable young men to the airport to catch a flight to sunny Florida, while I'll be then just driving back home on my own in grey, dank weather. It's not on. Okay, last couple of corners and last couple of 100 metres for Mr. Denton. It's dropped down to 1.1 watts per kilogram. I don't know if that's through exhaustion, but that again further suggests to me that maybe Keith's under the weather here. You know, it might not be, or might not just be, technical difficulties, but he's clearly eased off and is just rolling over the line. Let's get ready to click on Brian. Let's click away to Brian. Well done, Keith. Fantastic effort just to keep going with whatever it was that was causing you issues, which I know you're much better than that, so there clearly was an issue all the way through that. So we've got Brian Roden now coming in to take 5th place in the B category. And it's lucky he's got those glowing orange wheels so that we can see through that dull misty colour, misty grey sky in London. Okay, strong finish here from Brian, up in the 5 watts per kilogram. Whacked an aero boost on. Power's dropped down a little bit, but the momentum is there as he pushes into this final couple of 100 metres to complete another very solid ride. Brian actually is not a million miles away in the league positions either, but given the lack of races left, look at this, up in the 8s, big push. Let's get ready to click on Dan. There we go, click on Dan. Well done, Brian. Fantastic effort, and yeah, as I was saying, not actually that far off in terms of the league positions, but could probably do with just another couple of races left in the season to be really challenging. So we've got we're watching Dan now, coming over to, I think, round off the B riders. Would that be right? That bike looks good, Dan. Loving that colour scheme on the old S-Works tarmac. Speaking of the S-Works tarmac, does anyone share my opinion that the new one, albeit it's a lovely looking bike, but I'm kind of sad that curved, hang on, I'll carry that on, Dan, 14 watts per kilogram, over the line, click back to Len. Excellent job, Dan. And right, I can't carry on what I was saying about the S-Works tarmac because Len is very close behind and just about to come over the line himself for a fantastic victory in the C's. Now those 10 points, I'll have to check the number of races that Len has competed in, but that could put him within a point of Peter Wilson at the top of the league. Now we're on Rickard. Well done, Len. Fantastic ride. Again, sorry, I feel bad jumping away straight away as you guys are crossing the line, but I don't want to lose track of the riders in the event module. So Rickard coming over the line now. I think I've just got time to carry on my point about the Specialized tarmac. I do really like the look of the new bike, but the curved top tube that I instantly recognise as a Specialized or an S-Works bike obviously has gone, and I find that a real shame. I just think it's a less distinctive looking bike now. Don't get me wrong. If anyone fancies giving me one or lending me one, then I'll be happy to accept. But I just think I think it was a kind of a trademark Specialized thing that's gone. That's a bit of a shame. Same with the LA. I think that's following suit. I think that's going to look like an aluminium version of the tarmac. Okay, Rickard Johansson, another rider to finish with a big push. Now we click back to Jim. Great job, Rickard, and thank you, my friend, because that by you finishing ahead of Jim slows down his progress in terms of his charge up behind me. But he's still, so what would that be? Oh, I've lost track of how many riders have come over the line, but I'm thinking Len would have taken the 10 points. Rickard would have taken the 8 points. And so Jim will be taking 6, which will put him 1 point behind me in the league. Depending also on bonuses. I haven't obviously factored in the bonuses for the C category yet. Getting very interesting. It was a real shame Dave didn't manage to make it to the end because, again, that would have really closed things up between himself, Len Capel and Peter Wilson for the overall championship in the C's. Actually, I don't even know if I've even mentioned yet in this video that I finally have confirmed, and massive congratulations to Carlos Valadares for his phenomenal win in the D category. There was some real late pressure from Joel Walker, Dwight Williams, Noel McGrath, all with some really stunning individual performances that started putting the pressure on, but Carlos was just Mr. Consistency and outperformed himself and a lot of C category riders in certain events. I think we found your strength, Carlos, and it's in those really long distance races where there's some big climbs involved, such as this one. So it's a shame you're not here, actually, buddy. But obviously, in my mind, just flicking back through the season, the 111 sticks out for me as being just an absolutely stunning performance, which gives you a very well-deserved championship in the D category. I need to check your t-shirt size actually, buddy. I think I've got it because you very kindly ordered some t-shirts from me. So I will check that size, and your very special edition money can't buy championship t-shirt will be winging its way to you very shortly. And we'll just watch Jim over the line. 3.9 watts per kilogram. Last couple of 100 meters past the bus stop. There's the banner, and another brilliant. Oh, sorry. I think somebody's either just come downstairs or just come home. Brilliant. Sorry, I missed that. Oh, terrible. Sorry, Jim. Jim is like, if I'm going to miss anybody's finish, it's going to be Jim, isn't it? That's typical. But fantastic race, and that closes things up nicely in the league. So just the 3 riders left to watch over the line now. Niall Simpson being the next one to come over. Just coming through the tunnels, and then obviously he's got the big climb up the ramps and over the bridge towards the finish. So this is going to put Niall into the 30s as well on points. I'm on 36 points incidentally. Jim now, this is a very basic calculation because I'm going to have to look back to see how many races everybody's done and which points qualify. But just based on points received from today's race on top of what's already there in the league, I think that's going to put Jim Pocock on just 1 point behind me. Darren Hunter sadly is not finishing this race, so we'll still be on 27 points. And Niall Simpson here, who's going to pick up, what is this, 4 points? We'll put him on 31, I believe. So for the battle for 4th place, it's going to be a 4-way fight separated by just 7 or 8 points, it would seem. I will double check and do some proper maths on that, but it could be exciting. As much as it does my head in trying to calculate it, I'm actually quite looking forward to flicking through the points and seeing where everybody is after this race. Okay, here goes Niall Simpson, last 300 metres. Sun finally shining in London. Got my mouse already hovering over Stuart, so the second Niall hits this line, I can click back to Stuart Woodsell to make sure I can catch him coming over the line as well. And there we go. Great job, Niall. Excellent performance. And again, another nice haul of points. Right, Stuart now coming over the line. Just the last 100 metres, and if I'm not mistaken, this will be Stuart's first points in the league. So congratulations, buddy. Left it rather late, so unless there's going to be some kind of miracle surge in the last race, and I come up with a system that means you can win yourself maybe 90 bonus points for something. You're not going to be challenging for the win, I'm afraid, my friend. But it's very nice to see you on the on the points table. So great stuff. Right, so it's just Mr. H and G to come over the line now. While he's rolling in, actually, I was going to just start wrapping up, but that's really disrespectful. I'm not disregarding non-league riders completely, but obviously, I think I've said it a few times already in this video, that my interest and the excitement all lies with the riders fighting for league positions, but that doesn't take away from the brilliant effort I'll turn them guest riders, the performance they've put in. And it's great to have you. The more the merrier in these races. Even if you're not part of the league, just treat it as an individual race. It's great to have the bigger numbers. It just looks better on screen, if I'm honest. To have nice big peloton flying along. There's no problems with people using other racers that aren't in the league for drafting or anything like that. It's just part of racing as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, please don't be put off joining these races, even if you're not part of the WKG League. That said, if you did enjoy this race and have somehow managed to find this video as well, we'll be starting the Winter League soon. I will announce a schedule for that as soon as I've finalised it, and I would love to have you along. It'd just be great to have a larger, more regular group of riders for all these races. So I am going to do it by pre-registration, which will give me a better idea of the amount of riders that should turn up for every race and make it much easier to basically monitor it and do the scoring. So great job, H and G. thank you very much for coming along. So I am going to wrap up now. Thank you all so much for riding. Thank you all for watching. I'm absolutely gutted again that I've not been able to join in. This tax vortex has let me down one too many times now, it would seem. I'm really excited for this final race, which, fingers crossed, if I'm able to sort out a turbo trainer between now and then, I will be taking part in. Worst case scenario, I might actually try and just set up my speed and cadence sensor and see if I could just use my tax as a dumb trainer and at least join in. Sorry, I'm just going to shut this down while I'm chatting. But yeah, thank you all so much for taking part, and roll on the next race. See you all then. Ciao.